Oh,
anybody.
okay.
Go on with what you have to say.
Okay, that's exactly what I'm doing, sir. So, because before you go to the polling station, you'll be asked to place your fingers to be verified. And then inserting a picture without your presence, I'm wondering how you'll be able to go and cast your vote at the end of the day, because you were not there for your fingers to be captured onto the system. So how will it be possible when the time comes for us to go and vote for you to be able to be verified? Because the person who did it, assume the person who did it wasn't around, and then there's another person this time. How would that be possible? Now we're also talking about who is a Ghanaian here. Who is a Ghanaian? If you go into our constitution, Article 6, 1, 2, 3, and 4, it talks about who is a Ghanaian. If you were born outside this country and one of your parents is a Ghanaian, automatically you are a Ghanaian. If your grandmom or your granddad is a Ghanaian, you are also a Ghanaian. Even if you were 7 years before 1992, and then we could not trace your mom or your dad, we presume, and you are roaming around Ghana, we presume you are hot, you are a Ghanaian. That is our law. Now, so me, for instance, my dad is from Togo, and my dad's mom is from Togo, and his dad is from Enyako in the Volta region. So my dad can decide to go and register in Togo, or can go and register in Ghana, because he belongs to these two countries. If we go into that, there's one gentleman, I was trying to find out how many people have been able to register in both jurisdictions, like maybe, let's say, UK and Ghana. And I realized that there was one particular person in Subin constituency who is the candidate for MPP, and his name is Eugene Entry. He managed to register in UK. The address is very simple. You can Google it when you go to UK. Everybody you can Google it, UK voter register. You put his name, Michael Ansa, who is the MPP branch chairman in UK. Google it. You have all of them, their names there. Their addresses will pop up. So, see somebody somewhere doesn't ask us to, throw away this fantastic register that we have. So we have to keep the register. There is no need to, but some people are arguing that if you want to become a voter, or want to be able to find a name on the voter register, you should reside in a locality. But if you go to Article 94 of our Constitution, 1B, it talks about where you hail from before you qualify to be a parliamentarian. You must be 21 years, and then must be a voter, a registered voter. And you can either reside in that place, or you can hail from that constituency. So if I live in London and I hail from Asen Asamankesi, what stops me from becoming a parliamentary candidate at Asen Asamankesi? That is our constitution. Article 42 talks about who can qualify to register on our vote. Any citizen of Ghana who is above 18 years and is what? Of sound mind. So, before we can delete anybody's name on our register, then we need to make sure we prove beyond all reasonable doubt that that person is not a Ghanaian. So, IPP, we are saying that we don't need any new register, because the forms of identification will remain the same, even if we decide to throw it away and start a new one tomorrow, because we are going to use the same driver's license. And a driver's license, anybody can hold a driver's license. You don't need to be a Ghanaian to hold a driver's license. You can be a Chinese, and you want to, so far as you want to live and drive in Ghana, you can get a driver's license. We're talking about birth certificate. How many people in Ghana have birth certificate? And how many people have passports? So it will be very, very difficult. So at the end of the day, we have to fall under our fantastic EC card that we have. I love it because this is the very first time that we have done an election in this country, and you could easily go back and do your calculations as to how you got, how many votes you got, you earned. That was why Adwa Safo did a fantastic job at her constituency. When some people were trying to manipulate the figures, she was able to do her own collation and challenge it, and then she got her figures right. So, because of this voter register we are talking about today, I mean, that helped her to claim what belonged to her. So, I don't support that we should change any voter register. We should keep it. Now, if you are to change the voter register, we're going to have same unscrupulous people who will go out there to bring minors. They'll bring them together to go and register. So these people, until they are able to change their minds, they're able to change their hearts, they're able to change the way they do things, nothing will change. So nothing is going to change. So there's no need for us to change any register. Now, we also of the view that we don't need any e-voting here. Some people are championing that we should have e-voting in Ghana. If you can remember the famous SLT or STL, when some gentlemen raised that, hey, some people are tampering the figures that have been coming to the EC, the Electoral Commission office. Some people have some machines able to manipulate some figures coming into the EC headquarters. And I was asking myself, how can that be possible? Thank you, madam. How can that be possible? Because these are manual figures, something written on paper. So how will somebody be able to manipulate it with computer? Because I was at the police station, I recorded what I earned, you recorded what you earned. So how will somebody be able to change the figure that I have? If I have a team doing the work for me, because we believe that the two major political parties have agents in every polling station. So they should be able to send what they got from each police station to their constituency headquarters for them to do the compilation before the EC even declares. Because any efficient administration, you'll be able to do that. So I'm not going to waste much of your time, but all that I will say is that we don't need any new voters register. God bless you all.
Can we now have the presentation from the National Democratic Party by Mohammed Frimpong?
Mr. Chairman, eminent panel members, comrades, excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I think in our presentation so far, we are experiencing some convergence with our own on the need for what we call a single definitive identification. And this has been invariably described as NIA or data bank, or database rather. There's also a convergence on the fact that our voter register has over the years been bloated. And the question often asked is who is responsible for this and who also benefits from its bloatedness. Definitely, the way the voter register is compiled, and if there is any subtle way of getting it bloated, then it also means that somebody must be the beneficiary. And therefore, the National Democratic Party wants to look at the biometric technology from origin to its destination. We are saying that once we start the biometric process, it must end up in a way that at least those who champion the bloatedness of the register should not benefit. Now let's look at the statistics. Invariably, we have had 56% of voter population as compared to the national population. And Africa average is just about 40%. As a matter of fact, we don't believe that in other African countries, they also do not enjoy what we call unfettered process of registration. They do, just as we do here. But why we are registering 56.69% leaves so much to be desired. The compilation of the voter register is done by CI-72. The often bandied argument is that you had your agents there, and therefore, if anything went wrong, you were responsible for it. The CI-72 does not impose any responsibility on any party. As a matter of fact, we believe that the EC enacted the CI-72 to at least facilitate and make the responsibility a shared one, for all stakeholders. And one just cannot use that and say that because I was not present, if anything went wrong against me, then I must be responsible. It's just like saying that if you didn't lock your door and a thief got into it and stole your property, then the thief is justified. That one we do not agree. The multi-source identification, I think, like I've said, had been, well flogged. It means that the NIA issue or the national identification issue must be highly considered in order to purify or sanitize the voter register. But we want to go further to demonstrate that we have a cumbersome paperwork in our electoral process. That one is susceptible to human cunningness and sleight of hand. We say this because if you look at CI-75, the paperwork alone is so monstrous. And we can state clearly that the election petition of 2012 was implicitly putting on trial the regulation CI-75. And in the areas of signature of presiding officers and party agents, ballot papers and overvoting, I think we all saw what happened. That shows that the paperwork involved in our electoral process is not healthy and very prone to human cunningness. Out of all the problems that have been cited about foreigners in the register and so on and so forth, we have been struck by one major factor, and which we call the grafting of two dissimilar entries into the register. By CI-72, we all agree, that's all stakeholders agree, that there's only certain agreed processes for entry into the register. And that is a scanned live biometric picture into the register. As demonstrated, if there is anything like a staple pin marked steel paper inserted into the register, then we are saying that that lies squarely on the lap of the EC. And for us, there is a mark of indelible failure. And for that matter, an abuse of mandate, and then creates a problem of the independence of the EC. That is what message we have gathered. And that if that is proven, then of course, the custody of our database then becomes highly questionable. And that's our main worry. Once more, if you look at the origin of biometric technology and then the end result, like we are saying, all the regulations of the voter process, from elections and then to the compilation of registers, we are saying all the process are highly susceptible to human, fraud and other processes. And for that matter, if in fact, what has been admitted here, that over the years, our voter register has been bloated, then somebody